Calling to order the Town of Londonderry ZBA Board of Adjustment meeting for June 18th. Before we start with tonight's proceedings, I'd like to read in for the record the meeting and how we proceed. The clerk will read your case into the record. The applicant will come to the front here. You will state your name and address for the presentation. The board will address the applicant with any questions or comments after you've done your presentation. Those that are in favor of the request are given the opportunity to address the board. You'll come to the podium and you will state your name and address for the record. Those that are opposed or having any questions regarding the request are also given the opportunity. You will come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. The applicant will be given the opportunity for the opportunity to rebut any opposition and answer any questions. The opposition is also given the opportunity for any rebuttal. The board addresses the applicant with any additional questions or comments if we are unclear on anything. We ask that if you have any questions or comments, you address it to the board so that we have one single voice. We will talk to the applicant. There's no back and forth between someone at the podium and the applicant. You come to the board and we will address it with the applicant. We ask at that time if all that process has happened, there are no further questions or comments, we will close the case, and at that time the board will go into deliberations and vote or request or continue the case for a future date. We also ask that you turn your cell phones to vibrate or possibly off for the meeting. You may stay for the results, or you can always go to the town office tomorrow morning for the results if you don't want to stay. So, before we begin, we usually introduce ourselves. Nick, would you please start us off?
I'm Nick Codner, Chief Building Inspector and Zoning Administrator.
Kristen Farr, Town Planner.
Lisa Sussman, Zoning Board Alternate.
Brendan O'Brien, full member.
Jackie Bernard, full member.
Mitch Feig, full member.
Okay. And I do want to remind everybody, and I will remind you as you come up to present your case, we do not have a full board this evening. There are only 4 of us. Lisa, we're going to vote you in to be a voting member as our alternate. If you choose to proceed with your case, a full board is 5 people. You have to get 3 positive votes in order to have something pass. If you don't want to present, we can put you in the next meeting, and hopefully we'll have 5 voting members. If you want to proceed, that's fine, but you have to get 3 of our votes in order to pass what it is that you're asking for. So you do have the option to wait till we have a full board, which would be the next meeting. We're all volunteers here, so I can't ensure that we'll have a full board next time. We usually do, but unfortunately tonight we don't, okay? Before we begin anything else, the minutes from last month's meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 21st, 2025 meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I will abstain, I was not here, and no opposed.
Do you want to mention 10 p.m. to now?
Yeah, I will. Do we have a report by the town council liaison this evening?
Good evening, Madam Chair. Dan Bouchard, your liaison to the Town Council. I have nothing to report except that we are trying to get you more members. It's advertised out there, and since we have a great audience out here, I'm going to appeal to you. If you want to join and volunteer and help out the Zoning Board of Adjustment, please contact Kirsten at Town Hall and put your name in. All
Thank
right?
you.
You have anything?
We do not.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I do want to remind everybody here this evening that we do have 12 cases? Yeah. 12 cases. We might not be able to hear all 12 tonight. So if that's the case, what is our overflow date? Do we have that?
Know what it is?
It's usually 2 weeks, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
know.
usually the first Thursday, but that would be July 3rd.
Right, so,
that's a good
all right, well, if we have to, we can establish our overflow date. So we're going to do our best to get through all the cases tonight, but at 10 PM, I'm going to ask the board if they still can continue, because it's at our discretion if we go past 10 PM, okay? So we'll try to get through the cases. We ask that you just, when you approach the podium, if this is the first time you've ever done anything like this, we'll guide you so that we can move along, so that everybody can be heard tonight, okay? May I have the regional impact determination for this evening?
I don't think we have any this tonight.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the regional impact determination.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Great. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Now comes into our public hearing of the cases. The first case, Brandon will read into the record, and you may come to the podium, not the podium, but the two chairs here, and state your name for the record and
So,
your address.
The first case has a request for a continuance. That is case 319-2025-2, a request for a variance from LZO section 5.18F to allow an accessory dwelling unit that is larger than 40% of the living area of the principal dwelling and shall include 3 bedrooms, whereas the maximum size for an accessory dwelling unit shall not exceed 40% of the living space or the principal dwelling and shall include no more than 2 bedrooms. This is 9 Hill Drive in the AR1 zone district. John and Tina Flynn, owner and applicant. We have a request to continue this case
July.
to the August 20th, 2025 meeting. So there is a.
August
request to
20th.
continue. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to accept the request for continuance for case number 319-2025-2 to August 20th?
I'd like to make a motion to grant the continuance of case 319-2025-2 to August 20th.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Next case.
So I apologize, Madam Chair, there's a request to withdraw this variance. I write to withdraw the 2 variance applications pending before the ZBA and scheduled to be heard June 18th. As we discussed yesterday, we're withdrawing the applications and expect to reapply once we have determined the status of the road. So I believe that is applicable to cases 416-2025-1 and 416-2025-2.
For 84 Hovey Road.
So the problem is that the emails do not have the case number.
Okay. Is there anyone here for 84 Hovey Road? Okay.
Let me just check the application.
Nick, do you have any insight into it?
Yes. We had a meeting with with them and their lawyer, and they decided they were gonna withdraw
Okay.
Okay.
until they have their facts better, and then reapply again.
Okay. Thank
you.
you very much. So case number 416-2025-1 and 416-2025-2 are withdrawn.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the withdrawals, just for the record?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the withdrawals of case 416-2025-1 and 416-2025-2.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Case number 521-2025-1, a request for a variance from LZO section 4.2.1.3.c.2 to allow
Hold
a
on.
So
all those in favor to withdraw case 416-2025-1 and 416-2025-2, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Case, no problem. Case number 521-2025-1, a request for a variance from LZO section 4.2.1.3.c.2 to allow a deck to encroach into the 9 feet into the 15-foot side setback, 116 High Range Road in the AR1 zoning district, tax map 6, lot 6-1, Peter Norton, owner and applicant.
Will the applicants please approach? Thank you. Good evening. Please state your name and address for the record.
It's Peter Norton. It's 116 High Range Road.
Have you ever done this before?
Last month,
Okay. So you know what to do.
kind of.
Okay. Please present.
Well, it was continued on from the last meeting, so do I have to start the whole thing over again, or?
Well, I'll tell you what, I wasn't here, so if you don't want to present and I don't have enough information, my vote's going to be my vote. So would you like to present?
I have the option to pass it on to next month till there's 5 years?
You do.
Well, why don't I do that?
You got it. And let us vote on that.
I'd like to make a motion to grant the motion to continue the case number 5/21/2025-1 until the July meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. We'll see you next month,
All right.
Thank you.
You know what the date is?
July 16th.
16. Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 5/21/2025-3, a request for a variance from LZO section 4.2.1.3.c.2 to allow a garage foundation to encroach 1.5 feet into the 15-foot side setback, parcels located at 120 Hovey Road in the AR1 zoning district, tax map 12, lot 137-1, Brian Bell, owner and applicant.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Brian Bell of 120 Hovey Road.
And have you done this before?
I have not.
Okay. So did you bring the paperwork that you filled out?
I do have
originally?
it,
Okay, so that's the 5 points of law.
Yes.
So you can give us a background, but you will have to go through the 5 points of law, like that's on the application, so it could be read into the record. So you can either tell us, just start with the 5 points of law and tell us about why you're here, or do it in the reverse. We really don't care.
Sure. When I filled out the application, I was in a big hurry, so I have maybe different reasons of the 5 laws of. I've just written it out differently than what is on the application. Is that okay for me to read that?
So what we're gonna do is, we have to go by what you filled out.
Okay.
Okay, because that's for the record. If you are changing anything tonight, we're gonna take what you have and we're gonna put that into the record as you present it. Okay, and it's gonna go that way.
Okay.
Okay? So how would you like to start?
I'd first of all say thank you and good evening to everyone. This is a big crowd tonight. And glad to nervously present before all of you.
Don't be nervous.
Yes.
We're all your peers here. That's all. We just try to get through what we have for zoning laws
Yep.
on the books, and what doesn't
Sure.
fit in a nice box, this is why you're here, okay? So it's okay.
So I'd like to go ahead and start with the 5 laws as I've written here. And like
Okay.
I said, this is going to be a little bit different than what I wrote in the application, if that's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So the variance will not be contrary to public interests. I do not believe that the variance would adversely affect the public or abutters in any way. The spirit of the ordinance is observed. It was our intention to comply with the ordinance, and I was fully confident that we had honored the ordinance until a survey, which itself created a financial hardship, proved otherwise. So I'll say Nick was right all along.
He usually is.
A simple miscalculation created this situation. The property marker on the northeast corner of the property is situated within wetlands, and due to really a non-functional culvert on Trolley Car Lane, the monument is almost always underwater. Last summer, things dried out enough so that I could access the marker. I ran a line from the northeast to the southeast corner monuments, which are there, and we set a foundation 16 feet from that line, as we thought. It is still unclear to me how we ended up within the setback, but I guess the facts are the facts. The building being set 1.5 feet within the setback will not compromise the privacy or open space of our neighbors. It will not pose a safety concern to the public. It will not create overcrowding or adversely affect the value of our neighborhood. It is our desire to better our neighborhood and community, and we believe the structure will positively impact our neighborhood aesthetically and functionally. The third law, substantial justice is done. Since granting the requested variance will not pose any undue harm to the public, abutters, or adversely alter the character of our neighborhood, and since the owner stands to face significant hardship should the variance not be allowed, it seems that justice is done by graciously allowing a variance. Number 4, the values of surrounding properties are not diminished. While I am not an expert on property values, it is my conviction that the value of neighboring properties will not be adversely affected or diminished. We chose a building style that will match and complement our home, and that will, in our opinion, increase the aesthetics of the neighborhood while giving us a functional building space. Literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship. Yes, it would. We have already invested substantially in the foundation and slab that is already in place, and we were allowed to, we were doing this in the winter, so we were allowed to backfill the foundation in order to keep it from freezing. Denial of the variance would result in a significant financial hardship. I'm a person who works hard to pay bills, and keep town law taxes satisfied. There's really not any extra. We are already over our heads a bit on this project. A denial of the variance would be harmful to our family's immediate financial security. Number 1, no fair and substantial relationships exist between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application that provision of the property. The grade, so I'll say this, the grade of our property, the layout of our property is such that the building is more useful closer to the property line. This is why we tried to put it at 16 feet. Obviously, we ended up at 13.5 feet on one corner, 14 something on the other corner. We also believe that aesthetically it would look better to have more space between our house and the garage, but we never intended to violate the setback requirements. The proposed use of this is a reasonable one. The proposed use is reasonable. It does not adversely impact abutters. We are talking about a variance of less than 1 foot on the front side and 1.5 feet on the back side of the building. The investment already made is substantial. The building in its current location will not detract, but in fact enhance the neighborhood once we have finished construction. Additionally, I'll just say I have served with a nonprofit called Grace Dental Medical Missions for 20 years. It's kind of it's not really a hobby, but it's part of my life. And we take doctors. Many of our doctors come from Derry, Londonderry. Not only doctors, nurses, dentists, and travel to third world countries to provide free care. And as part of it, a lot of supplies and equipment for these trips, kind of a staging area. Ends up being my house and garage sometimes, and so this garage is intended to help me continue to do that and be a staging area for some of that. So it not only serves me and my family, but it also serves the greater community and people in the world.
Okay, so, of the 5 points of law, number 5 is the hardest to meet. Okay? And it's structured and it's labeled unnecessary hardship. And what that means is, it has to be a hardship that because of your property, it doesn't allow you to do anything else. And that your property is unique in some way compared to everybody else, and that's why you're asking for it. So I want to remind you of that, because when you're asked questions, number 5 is the hardest. So you may want to think before you answer in regards to the 5th one, okay? Does the board have any questions of the applicant at this time?
I do. So just looking at the Google Maps, and it was the same when I drove by, it looks like your property slopes pretty severely down from the house, back and to the right. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And the area where you put the foundation, it looks like kind of the only flat spot over in that area. Is that fair to say?
It is a flat spot, and we had to bring in some fill but you know, again, it's not so much that it's more we made a mistake in terms of where we thought we were putting the building within the setbacks.
Right.
We were convinced of that, and we didn't.
And did you say also you have wetlands? Is that on the back of your property?
Yes, the very back side by Trolley Car Lane there is all wetlands, and that's part of, there must be, I went out there in a paddleboard to try to find an alternate marker to see if there's some other marker down there that I went off of that caused us to be in the wrong location, but it's underwater all the time.
Right, right. And Trolley Car Lane, does that border the back of your property?
Yes.
It does? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
Not at this time.
Okay, I'm going to take it out to the public. Is anyone that would like to speak in favor of the applicant at this time? Let the record show no one. Is there anyone in opposition that would like to speak at this time? Let the record show there is no opposition. Back to the board. No other questions?
Not for me.
I'll ask one other question. So how close did you think you originally were to the line when you did it?
So Nick wisely told me, put it a couple feet in from where you think it is. I told the construction guys to put it at least a foot in, maybe more, of where we thought we were sure. And they thought they put it a foot in, and we ended up where we are. I wish we would have put it another foot in. That wouldn't have hurt me at all.
Nick?
I think he has another hardship in the lot, which he's not mentioning. Could you bring the other picture up?
I'm sorry I did that, Jack.
No, there is another hardship here.
Right here, yeah.
I mean, I should
This
have
is his lot.
That's okay.
This, right here, belongs to the people next door to him. He
No,
doesn't
across the
own-
street, Nick. Yeah.
He doesn't even own that piece.
Okay.
And that's what's causing the
Well,
issue?
it just makes it harder for him.
To measure.
Yeah, to measure it, yeah.
Yep.
It's another hardship on the property.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, since there are no other questions from the board, the public portion will be closed and we will go into deliberations. Do we need to hash out anything?
I don't.
I'm good.
I do.
Okay, let's go into the 5 points.
Granted, the variance would or would not be contrary to the public interest because I think it would. There's no change to the character. I can't remember if this is the character of the neighborhood or general health
You
safety.
need to say would not, by the way.
Granted the variance, I apologize, I did mean to say would not. I'm sorry if I,
That's okay, I just panicked.
yeah. I'm just trying to gauge your reaction even though I didn't look at you. I apologize for that. Yes, I did say would not.
I don't think it alters the character.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. And Lisa?
I agree.
Okay.
The spirit of the ordinance would or would not be observed because, I would say it would, because there's no threat to the health, safety, or general welfare by putting up the garage.
I agree.
I agree.
Granted, the variance would or would not do substantial justice because, I would say it would. I think the loss to the applicant is greater than any gain to the public.
I agree.
I agree.
I would agree as well.
Values of surrounding properties would or would not be diminished. I would say would not. A garage like that wouldn't diminish the surrounding properties, particularly where it is.
I agree.
I mean,
Agree.
a foot or two difference wouldn't change it to
Right.
that. I would agree.
Owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because there is or is not a fair and substantial relationship between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. Because I would say there is not. He not only has a cutout that's different than any other property from the property across the street, he's got a marker in the back that's covered by wetlands. He's got wetlands in the back, and he's got a slope down that makes it difficult to put it anywhere that way.
I agree with all those conditions.
I agree as well.
Mr. Bell, we will need your presentation that you read from as Exhibit A for us, please.
I have it somewhere.
The proposed use is or is not a reasonable one because I would say it is. Garage is reasonable.
I agree.
Agree.
I agree.
Comments, restrictions.
Do we need to establish exactly how many inches, feet? We good?
I think we're okay based on how it's
We're good with
presented.
that, okay.
I
Yeah.
would agree as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Like to make a motion in case number 521-2025-3 to grant the request for a variance from LZO section 4.2.1.3.c.2 to allow a garage foundation to encroach 1.5 feet into the 15-foot side setback. Parcels located at 120 Hovey Road in the AR1 zoning district, tax map 12, lot 137-1, Brian Bell, owner and applicant.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
In case number 521-2025-3, the request for a variance was granted.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. There you go. Thank you. Have a good night.
Are you ready for the next case?
Let's do it.
Case number 618-2025-1, a request for a variance from LZO Table 4-2 to allow retail sales in the industrial zone. The parcel's located at 574 Mammoth Road, Unit B2 in the Industrial 2 zoning district, tax map 17, lot 7, Matthew Adamson, owner and applicant.
Will the applicant please come forward?
My name is Matthew.
evening.
Oh, good evening. Sorry, my name is Matthew Adamson, and the address is 574 Mammoth Road.
and I'm his father, William Adamson, the owner of 574 at Mammoth
Okay.
Road also. We've talked about it. I think we're also gonna wait for the 5 panel, if you guys don't mind.
Okay,
Okay.
that's your prerogative,
Yeah.
okay. So let us, yep.
So in case number 618-2025-1, I move to grant the request for a continuance to the July
July
meeting.
16th.
To the July 16th meeting.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
But
you're all
It was good
set.
kinda hearing what everybody was talking about, because I had no clue what we were doing tonight, so. So now I'll be a little bit more prepared also.
You got it. We'll
you.
see you on the
Record
16th.
these, So you can always watch.
Right? Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Case number 618-2025-2, a request for a special exception from LZO section 5.12.3.4 to allow massage therapy business as a home occupation. The parcel is located at 2 Baldwin Road in the AR1 zoning district, tax map 10, lot 4-45. Alexander Trenchovsky, owner and applicant.
Is the applicant here? Okay.
Do we want to continue it to next month, or?
I would suggest we continue, given, or you can get one sworn.
Yeah. And it saves him having to file again.
True. Do I have a motion to continue to July 16th? Kristen, will you be reaching out to them to let them know? Okay, thank you. And we're going to vote right now, if that's okay?
In case number 618-2025-2, I move to continue that case to the July 16th, 2025 meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes got it.
Case number 618-2025-3, a request for a variance from LZO section 5.12.2.k.6 to allow a landscaping business. The parcel is located at 13 Walton Circle in the AR1 zoning district, tax map 18, lot 15-2, Laurie A. DeGraw, owner and applicant.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Same.
So I apologize.
I'm sorry.
Is what you handed us, is this all one person, or is this multiple people?
No, those are one, that's a
Oh,
one
it's
person
multiple
that was
copies.
supposed- Yes, multiple copies.
Okay, thank you very
Sorry.
much.
That they were going to attend and they couldn't, so.
Thank you.
All right, you may begin. Please state your name and address for
Lori
the record.
Lori DeGraw, 13 Walton Circle, Londonderry, obviously.
And Paul McDonald, Lori's fiance, same address, 13 Walton.
And did you bring your paperwork with you tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And,
And we've never done this before.
okay, so you can either begin by telling us why you're here, and then do the 5 points of law, which is what you've listed on the application, or you can do it in the reverse. We don't really care, and if we have any questions, we'll ask you.
Okay.
Okay?
We're gonna do the 5 points of law.
I'm going to do the 5 points
Yeah.
now. Okay, good evening.
Also, we're here for a small.
What's that? For number one, I understand your concern about running a business out of a residential address here in Londonderry. I do not believe this variance will be contrary to the public interests. Our business, Platinum Landscaping, does not conduct any actual landscape business at 13 Walton Circle. We are simply using yard space for parking our vehicles at the end of the day. The vehicles do sit overnight and leave the next morning for jobs primarily outside of Londonderry. We have only 4 employees, not including myself, 2 of whom live at this address. None of them conduct business on this property other than meeting here in the morning, parking in our driveway, loading equipment into vehicles, and driving off to jobs. We have no customers here. We have no traffic in and out of here. All of our business is conducted off-site. I believe the spirit of the ordinance here is observed other than parking of vehicles and equipment overnight. We do not block anyone's access to light or to air with large buildings or equipment. We do not perform any maintenance on these vehicles here on the property. We are not storing landscaping materials, no piles of bark mulch, no soil, no chemicals or hazardous materials or anything of that nature. We do not do anything here that increases the fire hazard or creates other hazards for surrounding properties. We do not have an impact on traffic. We do not create any excess noise during the day since we're not conducting business here. We have had conversations with our abutting neighbors, all of whom support us. They have made no complaints and have no issues with our property use. Many have written letters in support of approving this variance. We feel it could be an injustice if this variance were not granted due to the business meeting the spirit of the law with a little to no impact. Otherwise, it would negatively affect our business while not really creating a positive change for the region. We do believe the values of surrounding properties are not diminished as there is really no business activity here to detract value from surrounding area. Property values show that continue to increase, and some properties have even made substantial investment or recent housing additions to their property, even as abutters to this business. It's hard to imagine someone doing that if they're unhappy with how we're using our property. There are certain hardships that would be created if this variance is not granted. First of all, obtaining an off-site property to park vehicles would certainly be less convenient and more expensive, likely to the point of diminishing our ability to make a profit with the business. 2 of our workers travel to our property each morning, park in our driveway, and go in the business vehicles to head off to work. If they were not able to do this, we would have to either meet at an off-site property or at a park and ride. This would somewhat delay the start of the day and make our work hours slightly longer for the same job. The only relief requested is for the parking of the vehicles overnight. We believe that the use of the property is a reasonable one based on the general compliance with the previous sections. All right. I believe that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna mark this Exhibit A that she gave us.
Sure.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the board?
I didn't get the second page of
Do you have a copy?
the document entitled variance.
What he just read?
Yes.
I only had one page.
If you continue to read section 5A,
It's probably, did you read more than what was submitted on your application?
No. Was it on the back? Here's the
Lisa's
answer.
That's
right.
all we got.
Lisa's right.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Can we have your copy as?
Oh, it goes on the back.
It was, yes, I'm sorry.
On the hard copy, it goes on the back.
Oh,
So
and
when
ours
it
doesn't
got
contain it.
PDF'd, it didn't
Oh,
have
do you want
it.
a copy of that? I mean, we have.
So we have it.
We have it.
We have
You-
it.
I did read it.
So why, Lisa, do you want to read that?
I'll
I
reread it.
believe
Yeah.
you do have that.
Mitch, do you need to reread it?
Yeah, probably should take.
Yeah.
I have 2 copies of the first page. So I just- it's what-
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had 2
That's
as
right.
well.
You have it right here if it would help.
That's okay, we'll use our copy.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Turn it over. I should have gotten 2 copies.
Oh, did I read that?
Yeah, I did it for you, but I should have only the one for them.
Oh.
Should have done
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me explain something. When you come for a variance, the variance runs with the property. It doesn't stay with you, the homeowner, or the business owner, whatever you come for the variance. It stays with the property. Okay? And it stays there forever until it's modified or dissolved or whatever may happen in the future. Okay? So you have to understand that one concept, that it doesn't just follow you, it stays there. Okay, so even if you move or you sell, whatever you may or may not be granted tonight, it stays with that property. Okay? Any questions from my board members?
I did have one, and in all honesty, I drove by, there seemed to be an awful lot of vehicles on the property. Like, you know, when I first read it, one or two, but like, how many do you park there?
Well, we do have two of them are for the people that live there. So
Right.
we do have three bigger three bigger dump trucks.
Okay,
Both.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, and are they there just 5 nights a week, or also the weekends?
The weekends too.
And you don't store any, like, I thought I saw plants, but, you know, I have plants on my property
No,
sometimes.
no,
too, so.
and we don't. I mean, what we will do sometimes is
Be picked up for the following morning,
for a customer, you know, you might.
so we could leave right when the guys get there in the morning. We're all prepared and ready to go.
But
But
they
most of the
definitely-
time, we pick them up at the nursery that morning, but you might have come by when we got them for a big job the next morning.
Okay, all right. I have nothing further now.
How long have you been running the business out of that property?
Well, technically, probably like it was on the, stated in New Hampshire, 2023.
3?
Okay. Yeah, the reason I ask is that the Google Maps is July 2023, and it looks like there's vehicles there. So would that be consistent with how long you've been running it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And is there anything in particular about the property itself that's unique that would make it distinguishable from the other properties?
We consider, like, I think we have a beautiful home, we have a beautiful frontage, especially from, you know, Old Derry, Walton Circle, we're kitty cornered. Our backyard has always, I've been there for 30 years, has always been used as the field. You know, we've driven in the back there, we've burned brush there, we've taken neighbor's brush, we've, you know, dumped our grass there. So it's always been we've just always considered the field, and, you know, and that's how we've always used it. And we've never had a problem. Like I said, we've taken care of our neighbors surrounding us for things that they might have needed to dispose of, etc. So I would say that backyard has been like that for 30 years since I've been there.
Okay, and it looks like there's a cutout. There it looks like, so are there 2 driveways basically?
There's not 2 driveways. We do use that. That was before I even purchased the property, and
Yeah.
that was there for them to get into their backyard. So it seems to have been always used like that.
Okay. And how long have you owned the property for?
30 years.
30 years, okay.
Any other questions for the applicant?
You're good for now, thank you.
You all set, Lisa? Okay, I have a question. How many, in your landscaping business, how many trucks do you run? In your landscaping business?
In the lands.
4.
4.
Okay. 3 of them you stated are dump trucks?
Small dump trucks.
2 are F3, Ford
A
F3.
single axle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And 1 pickup?
Yes.
They're all labeled with your business name on them? Yep. How many employees do you have?
We have my 2 sons that live at home. We have, and 2 friends of theirs that work for us.
So 4.
So 4 total, 2 of which are your sons. And this has been in business since when? Your landscaping business? What year is the inception of?
2023, we were
2023?
incorporated,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Were you single proprietor prior to that?
No,
Just operating under your own name?
yes, I was, yeah.
Yeah.
We went to high school together. I came up from Winchester, Mass, where we do a lot of our work. And then I brought up the clientele, and we got together, and she became president, and then we formed, that's
Formed it
when
up,
we
yeah.
formed the incorporation
Up
up here in 2023.
Okay. You don't have any, you stated you don't have any landscaping material there, but other types of commercial things there? Dumpsters,
No,
brush?
no, just brush that was there from fallen pine trees and
From
ice
our
storms
property.
and our property.
not bring
We-
anything.
We don't bring anything in. Trucks usually come back empty and clean at the end of the day.
We have places that we dump.
Okay, and on your fifth criteria for the hardship, what you stated in your application and what you testified, you have your landscaping business elsewhere. Why can't the trucks be parked there?
The house, the clients are
The
spread
clients are
out.
elsewhere. We don't have.
You don't have a business
No,
location
no,
elsewhere?
No,
Our clients are
like we go down to Winchester every day and have 75 clients.
down there.
So we're going from house to house.
So Nick, basically they want to have a home business,
Home occupation.
home occupation.
Yeah, landscaping specifically not allowed as a home occupation.
Correct. Okay. So, in a home occupation type scenario, if you came for a variance for home occupation, it's not seen, it's not heard, you can't smell it, you don't even know it's there. Okay? So your variance, you're running a business out of this home, but you're coming here to park trucks, but you're running your business out of your home. It's not just to park your trucks there. You're running your business out of your home.
I guess.
It's not supposed to be seen, heard, or any of the sort. So I'm just clarifying for you what you're asking and what you're actually doing there. Okay? All right. I have no further questions now. I'm going to open it up. Go ahead, Mitch.
Nick, did you have anything to add? I thought you were gonna say something further. You always had good stuff.
I first became aware of this was a year or two ago. People across the street from them put an addition on. And as soon as I turned the corner, it was obvious what was going on there with all the equipment. We had no code enforcement officer for a couple of years.
Right.
And I was too busy, so that just put on the back burner. So now that we have a code enforcement officer, I asked him to look into it, and
Okay.
he has pictures if you want to see them.
Yes,
We
please.
have pictures as well. You would like to see
I
them,
would like to
Lisa?
see the
Okay.
pictures.
Okay.
Look, you, at least want to see him.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to bring it out to the audience. Is there anyone in favor that would like to speak for the applicant? Please approach the podium, state your name for the record and your address.
Hi, yes, my name is Kim Spanos. I own a property just to the left of them at 13 Walton Circle. It's a two-condex building. I own both sides. I've been there for 21 years. And I will say that they have put up a fence some years ago, I don't know, 5-7 years ago, something like that. And the fence has been a nice protector for my property. One of my tenants has young grandchildren, so I would be a little bit afraid with big trucks. So my question to them would be, are they leaving the property and going out to Old Dairy Road? Are they driving through Walton to come out the other side? With big trucks and little children, we always worry. So that would be my concern. And then also that the business doesn't like grow into this big, more trucks, more people, and now parking on the road. That would be my other concern. So the size that they presented seems fine, but just those couple of concerns I have.
Okay. So how do you exit the property with these vehicles?
We go towards Old Dairy Road, and we are actually downsizing. We're trying to sell some equipment, and we're not getting bigger.
Okay.
We're looking to retire. So that would
Couple
be.
of years.
Yeah, so. that's it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So that's my concern.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there, and if you become very prosperous, there's nothing wrong in being prosperous and being profitable. So if you become very successful, this would be a different you would be back here because it would be more vehicles.
Oh.
more-
There are 4 letters if you want to hear them.
Yes, please.
To whom it may concern, our names are Richard and Lee Murch. We live at 138 Old Derry Road, which is across the street from Laurie DeGraw. We have absolutely no problem with the DeGraws running their small business on their property. They are quiet and respectful of their neighbors and have never been a problem in any way. They have our complete support. Thank you, Richard Murch, Lee Murch. May 17th, 2025, regarding variance request. Lori, in your request for variance with the town of Londonderry, I can confirm, as the next-door neighbor, I have no issue with the business you conduct out of your property. I have seen no impact to us or the neighborhood in you doing so. We wish you good luck in your discussions with the town. Thank you, Dan Nadeau, 143 Old Derry Road, Londonderry, New Hampshire, 03053. May 17th, 2025. To the town of Londonderry, my name is Daniel Westcott, and my wife Donna Westcott have lived at 143 Old Derry Road for over 35 years. Laura DeGraw and her late husband Ken DeGraw have been our neighbors for over 20 years. We are writing to let the town know that we support Laurie and Platinum Landscaping at the property on Walton Circle. Thank you, Daniel Westcott, and Donna Westcott. Lauren McAdam, 8 Walton Circle, Londonderry, New Hampshire, 03053. To the members of the Londonderry NH Town Board, I am writing as a resident of 8 Walton Circle to express my support for our neighbors at 13 Walton Circle as owners of Platinum Lawn Care, Inc., who currently operate their small business from home. As direct neighbors, we interact with them regularly and have found them to be consistently respectful, conscientious, and responsible members of our community. Their business has never caused any disturbance to us personally. They have consistently complied with all applicable noise restrictions and have always been considerate regarding parking, never obstructing traffic or creating any congestion on our street. In fact, their presence has been a positive one in our neighborhood, and we feel fortunate to have such courteous and community-minded neighbors. We are aware that there may be discussions about whether they should be required to relocate their business, and we respectfully urge the board to consider the facts of their responsible operation and the support they have from those of us who live closest to them. In our view, their continued ability to operate from their home enhances, rather than detracts from, the character and stability of our neighborhood. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration. Sincerely, Lauren McAdam.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of the applicant, that would like to approach? Is there anyone in opposition? Okay, let the record show there's no one in opposition and no one that would like to speak in favor of. Is there any other questions from the board?
I just one. So, is there anything you can tell me about your property that's unique compared to the other properties around it?
I believe, well, the fence that we have up that covers Walton Circle. We are also very close to 143 Old Derry Road, very close neighbors and friends, and there's not a lot of action, I guess, on property. I mean, again, I still feel a lot is covered and hidden, and I do believe when you drive by and you see our front of our home, you would never think. Like, we do have it nicely manicured, and
thank you.
And it has been like that.
Yeah, we take pride in our property. And our neighbors, we want to make sure they're not upset with us at any time, and those letters prove that.
And I understand that, but the variance, if it is granted tonight, it goes with the land. You could be gone, and another landscaper could come in. So you have to understand what you're asking, okay?
Can I tell you that we have no plans on leaving right now, and we do own our home, and that is not in our near future or ever at this
We
point.
hope to be in Londonderry till
Yeah.
the good Lord takes us.
And I know that does affect after the fact, so.
All right, I have no further questions.
None for me.
Okay. At this time, the public portion of the meeting will be closed, and we'll go into deliberations. Do we need to hash anything out for the 5 points of law here before we go?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's do it.
Granting the variance would or would not be contrary to the public interest because?
I would say it would. I mean, well, it's been here for a while, so maybe the neighborhood's character doesn't change. This is a residential neighborhood. When I drove by, it was like I was surprised, it looked like there was a business, an active business here, so I would say it would.
I agree for those reasons as well. All the commercial vehicles are there. This is a residential area, and it's a business. It's altering the essential character of that neighborhood.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Lisa, agree?
Spirit of the ordinance would not be observed because?
I would say it would not. Again, I think having that many trucks, whether they come in and out once or twice a day, creates a danger in a residential neighborhood.
The safety and the welfare of
Right.
of the people in the neighborhood, in this residential neighborhood. I agree.
I
Lisa?
agree.
Okay.
Granted, the variance would or would not do substantial justice because?
I'd say it would not. I think that the public is substantially impacted by having this, this many trucks on the property. So I don't know that their loss is greater than the loss to the public.
I think there would be a greater injustice to the public.
That's, yes.
Okay.
Lisa?
Yeah, and it's also, a landscaping business is not approved.
Well, that's why they're
As a
here.
home as a home occupation, though, which
But
That's why they couldn't.
That's
come
why
for
they're here for the variance.
No, I know, but they didn't apply for a home occupation.
Right, but allowing a landscaping business, so
Yeah.
that's why the variance comes into play.
For the following reasons, the values of surrounding properties would or would not be diminished.
I would say they would. I mean,
feel
well,
they would.
if I had that in my
Agreed.
neighborhood, I would assume it would.
I agree.
Property values.
Owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because there is or is not a fair and substantial relationship between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because I would say there is.
I would agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't believe the property is unique.
The applicant didn't give us anything on the application to
Correct.
substantiate its uniqueness out of all of the properties.
And the proposed use is or is not a reasonable one. It is not.
I agree.
Landscaping business is not allowed in that zone.
And do I have a motion from anybody?
I'd like to make a motion in case number 618-2025-3 to deny the request for a variance from LZO section 5.12.2.k.6 to allow landscaping business.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mitch. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Your request has been denied.
Thank you.
Ready for the next case?
Do it.
Let's go.
Case number 618-2025-4, request for a variance from LZO use table section 4.12 to allow a nail salon, parcels located at 1A Commons Drive, Unit 1 in the Commercial 3 zoning district, tax map 10, lot 1C11, Kristen Dian, owner and applicant.
Welcome.
This is my first time doing this. My name is Kristen Dion, and my address, I live and also own the office that we're asking for the variance. So which address do you want?
Okay, so speaks so that we, the microphone can pick it up, because this is for the record. So just state your name and address for the record.
Kristen Dion. The address of the business is 1A Commons Drive, Unit 1, Londonderry. I also live in Londonderry at 11 King Richard Drive.
Okay, thank you. And you, sir?
Joseph Dion, husband.
You got it. Same address?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got it for the record. Okay.
Good.
And you've never done this before?
No.
So you can read the 5 points of law that you listed on your application, or you can tell us about why you're here, a little bit about your business, what it is you would like, and then go into the 5 points of law, so we don't care which way you do it.
Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So, this property, we own and run our business, Main Event Entertainment, out of this office. And we've been owned Main Event for almost 30 years, and I am looking to step away from the day-to-day running of Main Event and use one of the rooms in that office to go back to my roots as a nail tech. And I hold a cosmetology license since 1989. And so I'm just kind of looking to scale back and not run the business so much anymore and use one of the rooms for the nail salon.
Okay.
So the 5 points, I just have what I wrote on and already submitted. The proposed nail salon will operate quietly by appointment only and will not create any noise, traffic, or disruption beyond typical office use. The salon will occupy only one room within the existing office space and will serve one client at a time. All required health and sanitation standards will be strictly followed. Number 2, the proposed use of private appointment-only nail salon in one room of an existing office is low intensity and professional in nature, much like the other permitted office uses in the same building, as well as the condo complex of Londonderry Commons. What is it called? Commons Drive. It will not change the external appearance. It will not generate traffic noise or demand for parking. I already work there every day, so my car is already in that parking lot every day, and it would be just one person at a time. By maintaining the quiet, orderly character of the area, the proposal upholds the intent behind zoning restrictions while allowing a small business to operate. Number 3, granting this variance allows me to make a reasonable use of the property without causing any harm to the public or neighbors. The private nail salon will not detract from the community or impose on nearby uses. Approving the variance strikes a fair balance between rights of the property owner and interests of the town. 4, the nail salon will not diminish the value of the surrounding properties because it will operate discreetly within an existing office space without exterior changes or increased traffic. Services will be provided by appointment only. The nature of the business is professional, clean, and in line with the character of neighboring uses. 5A, applying the ordinance strictly to prohibit a single chair, appointment-only nail salon within an existing office does not serve the public purpose of separating incompatible land uses. The quiet, professional, one-room nail salon is compatible with the existing setting. Therefore, there is no fair and substantial relationship between the intent of the ordinance and the denial of a small, low-impact business use. The proposed use is reasonable because it involves a quiet, appointment-only salon, nail salon operated by one person in a single room. It will not alter the building, increase traffic, or affect the surrounding area. It fits well with the office setting. And B, due to the layout and availability of space within this office and quiet professional nature of the proposed use, a variance is necessary to allow my low-impact service business of a nail salon, which will fit well with the existing setting.
Do the board members have any questions for the applicant?
So,
So,
yeah, you go ahead.
Oh,
Nope,
okay,
you
thank
first.
you. One small question. It's a condo association. These, they're office condos?
Yes.
Is a nail salon a permitted use within, is it town common?
It's Londonderry Commons.
Is it a permitted use?
No, I was denied. But there are many, many, many salons on this road that have received variances to operate in the whole, I guess the whole road is zoned for office use only. But in my own building, there is a hair salon that got a variance. So there's a bunch of like personal service type businesses that technically are not zoned to operate there, but have received variances.
That's why she's here for the variance.
Yeah.
I think she's asking though if the condo association itself, not
Yeah.
the town,
Not the town.
the town condo association. Because I remember we had that with, well,
Yeah.
I won't go into it.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, I don't know about they received a letter because that was, they were on our list.
I'm on the condo association, and I wasn't asked to vote up or down on it.
So, my first question, you have in your application previous zoning board action on this property and it says denied, not a permitted use in the C3 zone. Are you saying that there was a prior zoning request and you came here and you did this process? Or are you saying that when you tried to do it, it was denied by the town?
Correct.
Okay, so this, okay, so there, you haven't requested a variance before?
No.
Okay.
No.
So the difficult one, particularly with one like this, is that the uniqueness of the property is difficult. But is this the only, like, as I'm looking at it and as I drove by it, it looks like it's kind of the only standalone building of this condo association. Is that fair to
No.
say? Okay.
So our building
Yeah.
has 5 condos in it. So there's Main Event, right next to us is State Farm.
Yep.
Then next to them is like a staffing agency. Next to them is a 5-chair nail salon who got a variance to operate their salon out of there. And then at the other end, there's like a counseling therapy office. And that's just one of the buildings on this road. There are, I don't know how many buildings, a lot.
Okay.
There's a lot of buildings on the road. Yeah, so that's, we just happen to be in the first building on the road, in
Okay.
the end unit there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mitch, do you have any questions?
I always seem to call on him. Nick, do you know why nail salons aren't allowed in the C3?
It's considered a service establishment, and it's just not in the table. It's not in the use table in a C3.
So we don't know exactly why. Okay. Do we know that all those other condos with all those other things are C3? I don't know if that's...
Yeah, that area is all C3.
And you said there's, I'm so sorry, Mitch.
No, go, please.
And you said there's a nail salon in that building?
No, there's a hair salon in that building.
Hair salon in
Hair
that building.
salon.
Okay.
And there are several other hair salons and other service-based businesses in other buildings on that same road within that same condo complex.
Okay.
As I recall, there was a day spa with a nail salon in it, farther down.
There's like blank canvases down there. They have a bunch of different service-based people working in there. There's another one, actually the person who owns Blank Canvas opened another like salon suite where it's all these separate rooms and you just rent a room from her and you do whatever it is you do, tattoo,
So we have to.
eyelashes, whatever.
So we have to focus on the 5 points of law, and depending what is surrounding this particular property for what the applicant is asking, we have to stay focused on what the applicant is asking and not what is around them at the moment that's been approved or, okay? So we have to stay focused. I do have a question for you. You are operating Main Event out of that office right now?
Yes.
How big is that?
It's just myself, my husband, and we have an office manager. It's just the three of us.
Square footage wise?
Oh, it's like 1,350.
Now, is it 2 separate rooms within this?
There's several, there's 5 rooms plus like kind of a sizable hallway and a little kitchen.
So if I walked into Main Event, I would have Main Event, and where are you proposing this nail area? Is it
So
in
you'd
one of
walk
the
through
rooms?
the front door, and it's going to be the first room on the right.
Okay, so it'll be in its own isolated room
Yes.
off of what Main Event has, which has 5 rooms within that square footage?
Yes, so
Okay.
then it would only be 4 if I'm using the one room for the nail salon.
Okay. And you said, how many employees do you have?
We have only one employee, our office manager, and then it's my husband.
But that's
and
for
I.
Main Event?
Yes. I'm not going to have any employees.
So
just me.
you will be the only nail
Yes.
tech person there?
Exactly.
So when you can't make it, you're not going to have an employee that comes in to do
Correct.
appointments there or
Nope.
sub out your room for another nail tech to operate out of there?
Nope, absolutely
It's
not.
only going to be
Just
you?
me.
Okay. And how many parking spaces are there for Main Event?
There's
that
not
you're allowed?
assigned parking. There's always plenty of available parking in that parking lot.
So when you rent this space for Main Event, how many parking spots are you allowed?
I don't know, is that?
That's never been discussed or talked about.
I don't really. It's not anything that I've ever
certainly
come
find out.
across.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, my cars are already there every day because I'm running Main Event.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
What'll be your hours of operation for the nail tech business?
It'll be Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay. What times?
Wednesday, Thursday would be like 11 to 7. Friday would be like 10 to 5, and Saturday would be like 9 to 3.
Okay. All right.
And that parking lot is empty on Saturdays because I do often go there to Main Event to do stuff, and I'm the only one in the whole parking lot.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I'm going to open it up to the public. Anyone that would like to speak in favor of the applicant that would like to approach? Let the record show no one. Is there anyone in opposition? Let the record show no one is in opposition. Bringing it back to the board one last time before I close it. Any more questions? Okay. Public portion of this meeting is closed. Let's go into deliberations. Do we need to hash anything out?
I don't think so.
Well, the only thing I suppose we could hash out, or we could go into, it's just have a hard time with the usual 5A figuring out. And I don't know if we want to discuss that or not. It's always the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a standalone condominium. It's the start of a condominium. It's got a lot of parking. And it's only got 5 businesses in it. I mean, the uniqueness is obviously the difficulty with the property.
Right.
But
Now, there is something about this property, because I know it well. There's nothing back there, unless you know that there's something back there. The applicant is not asking
Right.
for a sign.
Right.
This is going to be word of mouth.
Yeah.
So this whole complex, you have to know that the stuff exists back there, because there's no way to know it does. So the uniqueness is, it's not even where you could easily identify or spot it.
I don't have a I don't disagree with you. I think that it is, I mean, It's kind of the only area I can think of that's like that,
Yeah.
where it's like you never, I used to drive down that road all the time. You'd never even know it was there.
You don't. You have to you have to know what you're looking for to go
Right.
down there,
Right.
because you have no other indication otherwise. It's very private. You have to know.
Yeah.
It's like unintrusive.
Yeah.
The applicant touched upon how it's unique surroundings in the office setting back there.
Yeah, and we talked about that it was a condo, it's a standalone building. They talked about the parking, the number of businesses there.
There's not gonna be any sign, this is gonna be word of mouth. I'm gonna open it back up to the public. Are you gonna be requesting a sign?
I think the state of New Hampshire Board of Cosmetology, for the shop license, I have to have a small sign on the door, the entry door. And then when they come into the building, on the door that's inside. I don't want to take anything away from Main Event. I don't really want it to be noticeable. Like you said, it's going to be word of mouth, appointment only. So it'll be a super small sign.
So it'll be a super small sign kind of below where the Main Event sign is right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that we actually, on the door, there's a smaller sign with a Main Event and the phone number and the website, so it would be like just below that.
Okay.
Nick, for that sign, they can't attach anything to underneath Main Event, because then it's altering Main Event. So you can't do that,
Oh, I
okay?
can't- Okay.
Can they put a sign on the door when they walk in?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, do you understand the sign requirements?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna close this back up. Do we have anything else we have to hash?
I don't think so.
No, I think so.
Okay, let's go into the 5 points.
Granting the variance would or would not be contrary to the public interest because I would say would not. This is a professional area. I don't think it would change the neighborhood at all.
I agree.
The spirit in the ordinance would or would not be observed because I would say it would. The business won't threaten health, safety, or the public welfare at all.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Granting the variance would or would not do substantial justice because I would say it would. I think the loss to the applicant's greater than any gain to the public.
I would agree.
I agree.
For the following reasons, the values of the surrounding properties would or would not be diminished. I would say would not. It's a professional area. The type of business that's there, this type of business being there won't change that.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because there is or is not a fair and substantial relationship between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because I would say there is not. This is a isolated professional area. It's a standalone condominium with substantial parking. There's only 5 businesses in this condominium. And I think that for those reasons, it makes the property unique.
I agree.
I'll agree.
I'll agree as well.
Do I have a motion?
I need to do reasonable too, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
proposed use is or is not a reasonable one because I would say it is. Nail salon is reasonable business.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Comments, restrictions.
Applicant states they will only be open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days. No later than 7 p.m.
I'm fine with those.
Okay.
Okay with this.
Okay.
And do we want to also put that there's only going to be one nail tech? So should it be turned into a whole full salon, they'd have to come back if there was more than one nail tech?
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
In case number 618-2025-4, I'd like to grant the request for a variance from LZO use table section 4.12 to allow a nail salon with the restrictions that the business is to be open only Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and the business is only be open until 7 p.m. at the latest. The business will only have one nail technician.
Make a motion a second.
And thank you, Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
In case number 618-2025-4, the motion was granted with the restrictions stated.
Thank you.
Okay, you're all set. Have a good evening.
You too.
Variance.
I know.
The condo can do differently. They can restrict it differently if they want, the association. We can't override them. But they can't override us.
You like that, huh?
Well,
Right.
yeah, it's just like, they could say no. But,
Right.
yeah. Case number 618-2025-5, a request for a variance from LZO section 7.5.c.1 to allow a sign to be erected that will exceed the maximum 10-foot allowance. Parcels located at 20 Orchard View Drive in the C1 zoning district, tax map 7, lot 40-11, Dairy Road Associates owner and NH Signs applicant.
You might be our most frequent presenter.
Long time no see.
There's not a gas station this time.
You did all the gas stations.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Peter March, New Hampshire Signs, 66 Gold Ledge Avenue, Auburn, New Hampshire. So I'm requesting a variance for a sign for Benson Lumber, and we're looking for a height of 13'6", where the maximum height allowed is 10 feet. The sign, it is an existing sign, 20 Orchard View Drive, Londonderry. So Benson's Lumber has an existing sign that they wish to update for brand recognition. Essentially, there's not a lot of change to it, except it gets a more attractive top on it with a peak that looks a bit like the Benson's logo. Since the original sign was permitted, changes the zoning code have reduced its visibility, creating challenges for effective identification and communication. We want to rebuild the new sign at the same height as the existing sign. So the existing sign is 13'6" high. We want to maintain 13'6" in a new sign using some of the structure from the old sign. So we'd obviously use the base, we'd use the poles, we're going to use some of the internal components of the pole covers. The sign will increase in size by 3 square feet, a marginal 3 square feet, but it'll be below the permitted 65 square feet. So when I made the application, I know the board and I have had some discussions on pre-existing non-conforming structures in the Londonderry zoning ordinance before, so this is made with reference to that interesting discussion. Mr. Codner asked us when I approached him to ask for a variance in this particular case. It's actually not an expansion of an existing, pre-existing legally conforming, non-conforming structure. It's actually maintaining the same size and footprint. It's really a retention. So we're really legally not allowed to do a 10-foot height. Not allowed to do 13-foot height, even though we have that. That's really what we're asking for. So granting that variance would not be contrary to the public interest. Benson's Lumber is a long-standing hardware and lumber business that served the local community for something like 110 years. As a retail establishment open to the public and as a hub for frequent large truck deliveries, clear and visible signage is essential for both customer convenience and operational efficiency. The business is located among other commercial properties, many of whom have large prominent signs. Workout Club would be one, Apple Tree Mall another, right in that area. Benson's Lumber lacks adequate visibility from Route 102, the main thoroughfare, which negatively impacts its exposure to passing traffic. The proposed updated signage is intended to improve brand recognition and ensure the business remains competitive in a commercial area where visibility is key. The public interest is served by allowing businesses to identify themselves, adding a modest sign that does not add excessive clutter to the area, maintaining the visibility of the sign, sightlines for approaching traffic, and allowing a property owner to exercise his rights as concerns pre-existing structures. I'd also add that I think it's actually a better looking sign. It's a more interesting sign for the area. It adds a little bit of interest. Currently it's just a rectangular box on a pole. We want to add something that will make it a little bit more interesting. Point 2. The proposed use will observe the spirit of the ordinance. The intent of the ordinance is to ensure that businesses in town have adequate means for identification, advertising, communication. The proposed sign at the requested height is significantly more effective in meeting this intent than the one that is already installed. And essentially that is because the shape of the sign is more interesting and provides more visual cues. The proposed sign maintains public safety and does not pose any traffic hazards. As I said, there are many signs along this road that are larger in scale and not being shown to negatively impact traffic safety. The height of the sign is not changing. Substantial justice will be done to the property owner by granting this variance. Signage is a key element in advertising, and thus the success of this location. Allowing him to change a pre-existing sign and maintain the height is fair and equitable. The proposed use will not diminish the value of surrounding properties. There'll be no negative effect on surrounding property values. The sign has been the same height for a considerable time. Updating it, making it more relevant and attractive, will only serve to increase the value of local abutters properties. Again, it's more interesting than the old rectangular box. Special conditions exist that the literal enforcement of the ordinance results in unnecessary hardship. The ordinance is contrary to the state code and the Supreme Court precedent. The code was not written to take account of a situation like this, namely an owner wanting to exercise his rights to maintain a legally pre-existing structure. Reducing the height of the sign would reduce its effectiveness, cost money that is not needed to be spent. It would also reduce the bottom of the sign to somewhere like 4'6" off the ground. As you drive down from Apple Tree Mall towards this property, reducing it to 4'6" by 3 foot would have an effect on visibility and would be to the detriment of the sign. There's no real reason to do that. There's no public benefit to doing it. I feel that leaving it at the same height, making a more interesting sign, serves the public purpose much better.
So as I said, visibility as you approach from Apple Tree, certainly with the tree and the drop, and that sort of the topography in general make this particular application a good one, and create a need to maintain the existing height. In other words, not to drop it by 3'6".
Okay, so that it's very clear for the public so that they understand exactly what this variance, what the applicant's asking. Today's standard, the maximum permitted height is 10 feet. As soon as you change anything that's pre-existing, you must meet the requirement, and that requirement is 10 feet. That sign has been 13 feet 6 inches in height, and because they want to change the aesthetics of the sign, that's why they're here for the variance, okay? Just so that everybody understands that, because you speak awfully soft, and they might not have heard you in the back, and not understood why.
It's the warm air in the room.
It is the warm air. Okay. Peter, will the sign be lit?
Yes.
Okay.
It is currently illuminated, and it will still be illuminated.
And it will still be
afterwards.
illuminated.
Yeah.
Will it have any changeable advertising, or is that
No, it currently has, if you can see the picture at the side, it says now hiring. That is actually a changeable copy.
Yep.
The new sign will have the same changeable copy.
It'll have changeable copy, okay.
Yeah, it's depicted here as nails, oil, and paint, which all seem to be $3.61, but.
And changeable copy, how many times would you say that happens in a week?
I don't know the answer to that. Most people change it maybe once a week. It's not something that changes several times a day, for argument's sake.
Okay. So not like a gas station?
Not like a gas station.
Okay. That's all I'm asking. Any of the board members have any other questions?
So the changeable copy is not from inside?
No.
They actually go back out and put the letters on when they need to?
Correct. It's a small plastic plaque. You get a suite of 400 of them. You have a rubber suction cup, and the employee goes up and he hooks the letter and he puts it into the track and makes a word with it.
Any other questions?
Not for me.
Okay. Bringing it out to the audience, anyone in favor that would like to speak on behalf of the applicant?
Daniel Bouchard, 8 O'Connell Drive. I just want to say that, Benson Lumber's been around a long time in our community. I remember when that was a roller rink. They serve the community well. Fortunately, we've changed the standards to reduce the sign. I know that when people have asked me, where can you go get lumber and stuff? And I try to send them that way, and they're like, where? So I think reducing the sign would hurt the business personally. It's off 102, so you really got to know where it is. So I would hopefully that you would support that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in favor that would like to speak on behalf of the applicant? Anyone in opposition that would like to speak? Let the record show there is no one in opposition. Bring it back to the board.
I have no questions.
Nope.
No
Nothing else from me.
Okay. All right. The public portion will be closed. Do we need to hash anything out? So that stretch, if that sign goes down,
You can't even
You
see
can't
it.
see it.
You can't see it coming up. You can't see it if you're turning right. You can't see it coming down.
so and if you're coming from the post office, you have to know that Benson's there.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So he's gonna if
If you dropped it.
if you drop it, no one's really not gonna know where he
No.
is anymore.
No.
So and it's
And you're going to be past it if you don't.
and it is going to be passed, and then you have everybody trying to turn around, and that's really a lot of congestion and a lot of activity right there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree.
all right, let's go into 5 points of law.
Granting the variance would or would not be contrary to the public interest, I would say would not, does not change the character of the neighborhood.
I agree.
I agree.
Spirit of the ordinance would or would not be observed because, I would say it would, because keeping the sign this height doesn't threaten health, safety, or welfare.
I agree.
Agree.
I agree.
Granting the variance would or would not do substantial justice because, I would say it would. I think the loss to the applicant's greater than any gain to the public.
I would agree.
Agree?
Agree.
For the following reasons, the values of the surrounding properties would or would not be diminished. I would say they would not. The sign's already existing and it's a commercial area.
I agree.
Agree.
I would agree.
Owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because there is or is not a fair and substantial relationship between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision of the property, because I would say there is not. It's in a commercial area next to a four-way stop on a hill with visibility issues from at least three sides.
Trees there, the
Tree is
From
all
three
kind-
sides, yeah, visibility from
yeah.
three sides, yeah.
I would agree.
Proposed use is or is not a reasonable one because I would say it is. Signs are reasonable.
Sides are reasonable. Agree.
Comments, restrictions.
I have none.
I have none.
Lisa, you're good, okay. Do I have a motion?
In case number 618-2025-5, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request for a variance from LZO section 7.5.c.1 to allow a sign to be erected that will exceed the maximum 10-foot allowance. Parcels located at 20 Orchard View Drive in the C1 zoning district, tax map 7, lot 40-11, Derry Road Associates owner and NH Signs applicant.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mitch. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
In case number 618-2025-5, the request for a variance was granted.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
Great. It's his first time he's ever gotten applause. Hey, Madam Chair, I'd like to make it, might be an unpopular proposal that we take a 5-minute break before we go into.
The next case. We're going to take a 5-minute break.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
has asked for a continuance.
Oh.
Oh.
He's asked for a continuance of the last two cases, so
Okay.
why don't we do that?
We can skip the break.
Okay.
He asked for the last two cases,
Okay.
it's one person, and he's asked to continue them.
Oh, okay. All right. We're not going to take a 5-minute break. We've just
Don't worry. We worry, but don't worry.
We've just been notified that the last two cases, go ahead, Brandon.
So in case number 618-2025-6 and 618-2025-7, which are both requests for variances related to the parcel located at 296 Nashua Road in the C2 zoning district, there's been a request to continue both cases.
Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to grant the request to continue the two cases.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
The two cases are continued, 618-2025-6 and 618-2025-7.
To the July
to the July
16th
16th
meeting.
meeting.
I knew this was going to happen. Hear that first.
I know.
But anyway. See you in a bit. I hope to see you in July.
Thank you for that. They didn't fall all night.
No, just told. Just told you. Oh, boy.
We'd like to see you. We like a crowd.
We like the crowd.
For or against?
Yeah, I know.
Give them a moment. We're all disappointed, but they were very well behaved. It's great.
Next order of business, communication and miscellaneous. Do we have anything, Nick?
Nick,
Got nothing. We need to end we need to end our meeting, so
thank you.
next order of business is communication and anything miscellaneous that we need to go over this evening.
I don't have anything, Madam Chair.
Are we good? Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
That was a surprise.